I'm a teen male, the second oldest of four. My older sister, 18, has Down syndrome and is medically complex with complex needs. She also has food allergies. My younger sister, young teen, has a host of food allergies, and some of them are very serious, and she's also on the spectrum. Then we have my younger brother, tween. He has a lot of medical issues related to food and allergies that go along with it. We always try to make sure places are accessible for them, especially because my older sister is in a wheelchair. This means I can be overlooked. It means making sacrifices or accepting that things will never be as far as they would be for a kid in a family with fewer extra or special needs. I'm used to not getting my favourite dishes, and I'm used to not getting my top pick for vacations because my parents don't think it's accessible enough or autism-friendly enough. I'm used to my siblings never getting turned down for that stuff. After a while, it became something I had expected. I was lucky that my maternal grandparents tried to make up for it when they could, and my best friend's family would also include me in their family for stuff like meals out. My favourite restaurant in our city is this Indian place. My favourite dish is their samosas. I can never eat there with my parents and siblings, and we never get takeout from there because it's not deemed safe for all my siblings. Sometimes that stinks, especially when my parents proclaim they always get their kids' favourite food from their favourite restaurant for their birthdays yearly. This year, my parents made a big deal over my last birthday, and they told me to pick my favourite place for us to have a family dinner for my birthday. A family dinner that included extended family. I told them my favourite place, and they told me that wouldn't work. I asked if they wanted my favourite place or a place catered to my siblings. They asked me if I didn't want to cater to my siblings, and I said no. They asked me where I wanted to go, and I said the Indian place. They gave me one of those looks and said they would give me more time to think. A couple of weeks after, they asked me where I wanted to eat for my birthday, and I told them my answer hadn't changed. They asked me if I could really enjoy my birthday knowing it wasn't accessible and safe for my siblings to eat there. And I said yes, since it was meant to be my birthday and they wanted me to say my favourite restaurant. They told me they would book the family favourite and went ahead and did that. The family favourite has nothing I like, I just tolerate it. They had everything planned and invited everyone, and when the evening came for the dinner, I just didn't go. My parents are furious with me. I had everything taken away for a week and they planned to continue the punishment somehow. My grandparents defended me, but my parents said I was rude. Am I the idiot? Edit, they hire babysitters for date nights, but they don't ever do that to do stuff with me. Not the idiot. I'm so sorry for you, OP. Your parents failed you. I hope your grandparents or BFF celebrated with you. The more fair alternative would be to order takeout on birthdays, so you can get your favourite and they can get safe foods and you can eat at home or wherever you can host your group. Or maybe one parent takes the birthday kid out for an outing, a meal of their choice, one-on-one time, and cake back at home with the family. I'm sorry, OP. Happy birthday. Of course, they want it to be easier for them, but they asked you for your favourite spot and tried to gaslight you into another place. Sure, it's easier for them, but you've had to do this your entire life. Not fair. As much as they want to include your siblings, they should support you too. Just know in 2 years you can escape, unless you go to your grandparents or BFF to live there now, and they will wonder why you don't want to be with them anymore or care for your siblings when they can't anymore. Exactly. These folks realise that in 2 years you're an adult and likely never come home. Yes? I'm so sorry. Yes, you are the glass child. They never see you. Your parents are morons. They need to understand that the world doesn't revolve around your siblings. Start job hunting if you don't already have a job, and start saving money now so you can move out when you turn 18 and never look back. My parents divorced before I, a teen female, was born. My dad married Bree when I was 5. She has a daughter from a previous relationship, Misty, teen. Misty and I were close growing up, but when we were younger teens, we sort of went our own ways because she ended up with a different group of friends than me. I mean, we still talked and hung out, but it wasn't the same. Anyway, she got pregnant with her ex. Our parents were shocked and angry when she told them, but they said they would help support her. Her friend group dropped her and she got depressed. So my parents asked if she could hang out with me and my friends, which was fine. She did seem to be happier, but as this pregnancy went on, she would get more emotional. 1 minute she's happy, and the next she's all moody. I know it's just pregnancy hormones, and my friends and I tried to be understanding. But then she started getting clingy and wanted to go everywhere with me. We went to the mall and I wanted to try some clothes. She got really upset when she couldn't fit the clothes I was trying on, and she really started crying. I had to ring Dad to come pick us up. After Misty was asleep, I told Dad and Brie I needed a break from her. They told me to be more understanding and to look at it from her point of view. I was frustrated but decided to just deal with it. My friend's birthday is happening next week. Misty wanted to come and I had to tell her I was the only one invited. She got upset and started crying again. My dad and Brie told me it would be nice if I could ask my friend if she could go or stay home and keep Misty company, and I got mad and refused. They started on, look at her point of view. I just had enough and said if I couldn't go, I would move to my cousin's home because I couldn't stand being around Misty anymore. They were furious because Misty heard and they demanded I apologize to her, but I wouldn't. They said it wasn't my fault she got pregnant. Since then, everyone has been tense and my parents aren't talking to me. Misty hardly leaves her room now and I'm feeling bad and thinking I went too far. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Why do you have to look at her perspective but no one has to look at yours? You're young and have done nothing wrong, yet you're expected to forego your happiness and youth because she made a foolish mistake. Next time Dad or Stepmom say that, ask that they do the same for you. You are her stepsister, not an emotional support human. You are her stepsister, not her therapist, and you most certainly should not be forced to assist in raising a child you were not responsible for making, because we all know where this is heading. Or, pay attention to this, especially the last sentence. We know where this is going, but if you don't, they will force you to babysit and give up important milestones, prom, homecoming, social events, etc., saying, she doesn't have a chance to live a normal life like you, just this one thing. She is not your child. She made a series of choices that took away her chance. You did not. You don't owe her anything. This. I cannot stress this enough because this is exactly what will happen. You have to watch her baby because she's tired. Look at it from her point of view. And you don't mind deferring going to college, do you? So you can look after Misty's baby? We can't afford to both help Misty and send you to college. Look at it from her point of view. You can hear this right now. Get out of that house and go to your cousin's place, ASAP. My fiancé and I have been together for 7 years. We have an infant daughter together and I have 2 tweens with my ex, who died in a car accident 10 years ago. My fiancé is fantastic. He's excellent with the kids, great to me, super attentive, caring, empathetic and insanely patient. He's never once made me question him, and honestly, our communication is top-notch. Of course, we have disagreements, but they are few and far between. Generally speaking, if we run into an issue warranting a deep discussion, we work it out together with no ill feelings. But he wants to move back to his hometown, and he truly slept with almost every woman there. Despite what it looks like, his body count doesn't bother me, but his hometown is literally so small. Everyone knows everyone, and given how much he got around, you can't even go to a store in that area without running into either someone he screwed or that person's parents. He doesn't associate with any of these people anymore, though he does have friends in the area who do still associate with multiple women in question. I'm not saying anything would happen, but I really just don't want to deal with it. Friends now, though they weren't back in the day. It wasn't awkward or anything. She's cool, actually. But his family was all, when will you guys move back this way? I laughed it off. Well, leave and stop at the grocery store. While we were inside, some guy walked over with his girlfriend and said, Matt, how you doing, bud? They started a conversation. At some point he goes, you remember Tasha, right? Didn't you guys hook up back in the day? As if it was just a normal conversation. Anywho, he wants to move back. The school system is one of the best in the States. There's a lot of work there and there are a lot of nice properties, and it's close to both our families. My family is in the next town over, but I truly just don't want to deal with it. I enjoy living in the area we are now, where we don't know anyone and have zero drama. He says he understands where I'm coming from, but keeps saying, you know it's not like that, right? I would never do anything to jeopardize us. It's a better school for the kids and closer to our families. I know I have a past, but I truly would never cheat on you. And I know he's telling the truth. His love for me is blatantly obvious. He shows me off constantly. I just don't want to deal with it. Am I the idiot? Edit, we already have a nice house where we are currently, and it's only an hour from our family. I work at the hospital here and he works at a dispensary. The work available near his family is better for him, not me. I would take a pay cut and transfer to a really small hospital. The school is better, so there are pros and cons. Not the idiot. I don't think people realize how, in small towns, everyone's hobby is other people's business. That's kind of their thing. There's nothing to do except be nosy. I was in high school hearing whispers about how a kid in my grade was born out of wedlock and it was considered a big deal. In the 2000s. I would not want to be a child of a promiscuous man going to school in a small town. This is a thing. I have an uncommon last name. My uncle was a huge runaround. I shouldn't know that, but I do because of my last name. People didn't even consider I might be his goddaughter when telling me these things. Small towns are nothing but petty drama. It's a lot of crap you invite to your door without even meaning to. Small towns are not for the weak of heart or mind. This is why I never want to move to a small town. I like solitude and people not being in my business, and I know if I moved to my husband's small hometown, I would only ever be Mrs. Jim or Mrs. Madge's son's wife. Also, I saw you'd have to take a step down for your career, so he's asking a lot more of you than I think he sees. My daughter is a teen, and with modern technology, everything is turned in online. Her teacher, Mr. Cat, is a strict teacher. He's probably the best teacher at the school, even though his classes are considered difficult. She is a teen, so she is responsible for her work. My daughter has had a big paper assigned for at least 2 months. This assignment gets turned in online, and he made it very clear that not turning it in will result in a 0. He told everyone, I've seen the emails, that the only exception would be if you were in the hospital or there was no internet. He also said he would give time in class, so there's no excuse not to turn it in. I agree with him since he's made it super clear that this is a hard deadline, and I've experienced hard deadlines a lot in life. Sometimes you just need to turn stuff in on time or deal with the consequences. Last Friday, my daughter wasn't feeling well and asked to stay home. I agreed and reminded her that she still needed to turn anything in since she was missing school. We have good internet and she has her school laptop. She didn't turn it in and got a 0 for the assignment. This has dropped her a letter grade A to a B. We got into an argument when I wouldn't fight with the teacher to let her turn it in. I told her she'd forgotten and she needed to live with the consequences. This is a good learning opportunity since it's a letter grade and not forgetting to turn something in college, which could result in her failing the class or her losing a job for not hitting a deadline. She thinks I'm a huge idiot. Edit, it's completed, I've seen it. She just didn't turn it in. It's better that she learns the lesson now before it costs her money or has to retake stuff. She just forgot. Not the idiot. Wow, you're a rare specimen, parent. A parent who allows their kids to face consequences for their actions or inactions. Way to go. I'm not being sarcastic in the least. Too many parents want to be friends with their kids rather than parent their kids. Your daughter hopefully learned a hard lesson, and you have gained the teacher's respect. She had all day. She just forgot a big assignment? Sounds fishy. Consequences suck but are a fact of life. Also, she's a mid-teen. At this age, she should be the one corresponding with the teacher. I would go to my teacher and not ask my parents to do it on my behalf. She can ask to do extra assignments to improve her grade, etc. Growing up, I never asked my parents to go back for me, so I always find it odd hearing how some have. My husband, 41, and I, 40, have 5 daughters. Avery, young teen, Bella, pre-tween, Cassie, young grammar schooler, Daria, preschooler, and Emily, toddler. The 3 middle girls are good friends with an autistic girl, Jenny, a young grammar schooler, who regularly comes over to play with them. We've also included Jenny in many family outings, from the beach to bowling to amusement parks. Jenny's mom has done the same for my girls, only she takes them with her one at a time as she's also autistic and not used to caring for multiple children since Jenny's an only child. We had Jenny over for a sleepover this weekend and took her out for lunch. Jenny and Daria ordered the same meal, chicken tenders and French fries. I noticed that Daria finished her chicken before eating her fries, and Jenny ate all but one before moving on to her fries. About halfway through the meal, Avery had to go to the bathroom and offered to take the younger kids with her if they needed to go. Bella, Cassie, Daria and Jenny went to the bathroom with Avery, while my husband and I stayed at the table with Emily. While the older girls were gone, I saw Jenny still hadn't eaten her last chicken tender and, assuming she wouldn't eat it, gave it to Emily, who ate a little more than half of it before her sisters and Jenny returned. After sitting down, Jenny noticed her chicken was gone and asked what happened to it. I told her, "You weren't eating it, so Emily ate it." She said that she was saving it for last and looked like she was about to have a meltdown, which I still have yet to deal with in public. So I took the little piece of chicken Emily didn't eat and gave it back to her, but she refused to eat it because it had baby germs on it. When Jenny's mom came to pick her up later that day, she told her mother about it. Her mom called me inconsiderate and said I should have waited for her to return and asked her before giving it away. She told me that she often saves certain foods for last too, must be an autistic thing, before having Jenny say goodbye to my girls and leaving. My husband and I talked about this, and he said he agrees with Jenny's mom's point about asking her first. I think she overreacted and the kids haven't brought it up. So, am I the idiot for giving away my daughter's friend's last chicken tender? You are the idiot. Not only did you give someone's food away, but you also attributed her saving food to her autism. I'd be disgusted and insulted if someone handed me a toddler's leftovers and was like, "Enjoy." Yeah, no thanks. I'm sure you're fine eating off your little bundle of joy, but it's going to be a hard pass from me. I could never imagine just giving away someone's food without asking. I don't even take a fry from someone without asking, but to just give away someone's food and then give it back half-eaten, how can you see it's not okay? Do better. The ages don't matter here, the friend having autism doesn't matter here. The only thing that matters here is that you took food from someone and gave it away. I save the best bite for last or the best things on the plate all the time. You don't need to appear so confused by what must be autism. She wasn't done with her meal, period. People eat food at their own pace and in their own way, and it isn't difficult or confusing to just leave their food alone.